Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Now, Mthokozisi Thwala continues telling his account on what happened on the night former Bafana Bafana captain Senzo Meyiwa was killed. He has been cross-examined by the lawyer of accused number 5, Advocate Zandile Mshololo. Let's get a live now or an update from eNCA's Moloko Moloto, who joins us now from outside the High Court in Pretoria. Moloko, this, of course, being the end of the second week since Mthokozisi Thwala took the stand. What kind of questions has Zandile Mshololo posed to him to try and poke holes in his testimony?
Hello, Marcelo. Well, Advocate Zandile Mshololo is continuing to fire tough questions to Mr. Mthokozisi Thwala. You'd recall that Mr. Mthokozisi Thwala essentially is trying to remove himself from the scuffle that apparently ensued between the gunmen and some of the people who were in the house. He's saying, I was standing there just as an observer. However, it turns out that Mshololo is trying to say you were there in terms of the evidence that is going to be presented by some of the people, including Zandi Khumalo and Kelly Khumalo. And also, she has pointed out that Kelly Khumalo, when she comes to court to testify, she will actually say that the second intruder chased her as she was fleeing to the bedroom, and he tried to kick and open the door. And Mshololo asked Mr. Thwala if that incident happened or not, and Mr. Thwala is saying, I did not see that. I am not aware of such an incident. So there seemed to be some kind of like contradiction between the people who were there. Of course, at this point in time, neither Zandi Khumalo nor Kelly Khumalo have testified, but they have deposed their sworn statements. That is the evidence which the defense is now using based on the statements that they have deposed. But then there's also an issue of the time when Mr. Mthokozisi Thwala escaped from the house just after the shot was fired. Mshololo has tried to question him as to why did you choose the long way if you were indeed running for your life? Why did you not just jump the wall that is separating the Khumalo house as well as the neighbor's house? Why did you have to go out through the gate of the Khumalo house and jump the door in front of the road that is passing there? And he's saying, look, at that time I did not, it didn't look as if it was a long distance to me. It may be a long distance to you, but it wasn't to me. But there's another important point here that was raised by Advocate Mshololo. She has read from a statement that she says was deposed by one gentleman, Mr. Hlophe, who apparently is the brother-in-law of the late Senzo Meyiwa. He says he's married to Meyiwa's sister. According to that statement, Mr. Hlophe, on the day Mr. Meyiwa or Senzo Meyiwa was killed, he phoned Tumelo Madlala to say, I want to know what happened. And according to that statement, Mr. Madlala, Tumelo Madlala, told Mr. Hlophe that there was a fight between Zandi Khumalo and Longe Thwala. They were an item at the time, and Senzo was trying to separate them, and that's when the shooting happened. A complete contradiction to what the witnesses who came to testify here have been saying. Mr. Mthokozisi Thwala, he's been saying that there was an intruder who came into the house having a gun, although he couldn't explain the type of a gun. And he says the second intruder was wielding a knife. So all those contradictions, obviously, the defense will want to latch on and try to poke holes. At this point in time, the court has adjourned, and the expectation is that at 2 o'clock when it commences or when it resumes, Advocate Mshololo will continue cross-examining Mr. Thwala. Perhaps let's listen to some of the interactions between Mshololo and Mr. Thwala.
After the second intruder, if there was any, had demanded the cell phones, you were able to stand up and take your cell phone?
Uma kuwukuthi ngokwesibili ke kwakuwukuthi wafuna-ke ama-cellphone uma ngabe wayekhona-ke wesibili wangena wawuzothatha i-cellphone yakho?
Angikuzwa kahle uma owesibili wafuna ama-cellphone kanti ubani wafuna ama-cellphone wokuqala noma owesibili ngoba wokuqala so angikuzwa kahle yangidida lapho.
You are confusing me. I don't understand you when you say if the second one would have wanted, but who wanted the cell phone, the first one or the second one?
If I refer to the second intruder, it means it was a mistake. The only person inside this house who demanded the cell phone is the first intruder.
Uma ngabe ngithe owesibili-ke iphutha-ke lelo uyedwa kuphela-ke umuntu laphayana owafuna i-cellphone yilo wokuqala wangena.
So don't be diverted so easily. The only person who demanded cell phone is the first intruder.
Umuntu wokuqala-ke shintshwa-ke ungajiki nje lula nje noma lula nje kanjalo. Umuntu nje kuphela uyedwa kuphela umuntu wafuna ama-cellphone laphaya kwakulo wokuqala.
Firstly, hayi ngoba nakho ngithi ngiyadiverta njengoba usho ngiyakucorrecta kahle kahle ngoba egcineni kube bengivumile ubuzothi second intruder kanjani so ufanele ngikucorrect uma ukuthi ngibone ukuthi khona la wenze khona iphutha nawe.
Not to say that I am being diverted. Actually, I am correcting you because if I had admitted or said the second intruder, then you would have said second intruder. So if you are making a mistake, I also have to correct you.
Okay, then you can answer my question now because you understand it.
Can you repeat the question well?
The first intruder demanded the cell phones, if there was any intruder.
Lona owaqala ukungeneleni noma wangena-ke wafuna ama-cellphone uma kuwukuthi ukhona umuntu owangena.
Yebo wafuna.
Yes, he demanded.
And it's your evidence that you were able to take your cell phone to move and take your cell phone, be able to take your cell phone from the TV stand.
Ubufakazi bakho-ke ukuthi into owayenza-ke ukuthi usukume uthathe i-cellphone yakho lapha kwi-TV stand la eyayikhona.
Yebo ngayithatha ngasuka ngayithatha.
Yes, I took it.
And what was the second intruder doing when you were moving, taking the cell phone?
Ngalesikhathi wena-ke ususuka-ke uthatha i-cellphone yakho-ke lo wesibini-ke wangena yena kwakuyini ayenzayo?
Angizange ngize ngimnake phela wesibili ngathi isikhathi oba ngibhekele mina ngithatha i-cellphone angithi.
I didn't take note of the second one because I was looking that side, taking the cell phone, not so.
All right, Moloko Moloto, live for us outside the High Court in Pretoria. Let's leave it there for now. Of course, as Moloko said, the trial does continue at 2 o'clock after the lunch break.